can make it because in the 60s, Kenya was better off than Singapore, than Malaysia, than Korea, and they had more poorer people than we had. But these countries have gone past Africa, and they're in the first world. A number of things have held us back. Academicians spent most of the 70s and 80s giving excuses that we are getting poorer because we were colonized by the British. I have always said that is nonsense because the Jewish suffered under the Nazis. They were able to forget and they have moved forward. They are doing much, much better. We can forgive and move forward. Some of the countries that have done better in the Asian continent were also colonized. Singapore was colonized by the same British, and many other countries. You realize since the 60s, we have not carefully or seriously had a vision that we can all subscribe to. And then talk a little bit about the constraints of attaining a knowledge economy in Kenya. This is important. If I spend a few minutes to say why it is important that we move towards a knowledge economy. Poverty in Kenya in particular now is as a result of us not having embraced science. If you look at the farming sector, 80% of us toil in our chambers to feed 100%, but we usually fall short and feed only 60%. We have a gap of 40%. Compare this with America. 3% of Americans work to feed 100% of the Americans, 300 million people. So there is something that is wrong, that 80% of the country can spend time to feed 60%. There is seriously things that we must look at. And this is where science would help us. We must change the culture. If there is anything that we must do research and change, is our culture. It is the one that has made us go backwards. You would do all the research, but you would finally find that culture is the biggest problem. We are not able to change this very easily. As I said, we need land consolidation, but culture remains the greatest impediment. I have said about the number of children. We must find a way. China's one-child policy works. Other countries have various ways. Africa must deal with the issue of population. We have to. We must find a way. Of course, everybody has been saying it is their democratic right to do what they want to do. America is a democratic nation, but they make sure that you only have one wife. So Africans must find a way within democracy to have one wife and the 2 kids at most. The pilot centers that we have put in place have actually shocked us. We go to a remote village, put this in place. We've gone to Mars Island, in other places. And within 2 days, the digital center is filled with the people with various questions. The first day of the introduction of this in Kangundo, we found people wanted to use government forms. People wanted to make VoIP calls, which were not part of the revenue streams that we thought about, which now tells you that people themselves have their own thinking as what broadband will do to them in the rural areas.